So I took one trade today, one loser. I don't think it was the worst trade, but it was certainly a little iffy. I wasn't the most confident in this one. So going into today, yesterday, a lot of big sell-off. So pivots were lower all across the board here on CPR, DPO, and the cams were actually an inside relationship. So I thought maybe it could be some sort of breakout. Overnight, it was rallying, especially in the pre-market. It rallied up into H4, and then I was expecting it to open above the range and value in H3, but it didn't, and it came back below it. So there was a huge rejection from H4, which kind of got me confused because I would usually take a long off of, let's say, H3 and yesterday high here, but because of this rejection from H4, I was maybe thinking it could just be a continued sell-off. But again, the cams were a inside relationship, so I was thinking maybe there could be a breakout to the upside, especially into the supply zone here. But yeah, I was just a bit confused overall. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know if I wanted to long at value area high either because of this rejection. So this whole rejection just kind of messed me up. But so yeah, my plan was value area high long or yesterday high break and retest. So if it was opening under here, under the range, under yesterday's high. So if it can break above and then test back inside, then I can take a long. So that was kind of my only real plan here. Market did open inside range. 69.72 is yesterday's high. So it does open, but it rallies into yesterday's high, and then it kind of goes up. So this was kind of the first opportunity that I thought I missed, but I don't think it's much of a miss, especially because it would have ended up as break-even anyways. But it did come down and retest here. So 72 is yesterday's high, which was also coinciding with this high volume node ledge here, although it wasn't much of a high volume node. I mean, there was a lot of peaks over here, so I don't know, maybe that was a stretch to think of it like that, but it did come back retest, and then it formed a little bit of a delta divergence before rallying up further. So I was thinking about taking a long here at 77 or so, with the stop around 70, and I was kind of regretting it when it rallied, but I was looking for a retest back into around 74 to test that high volume node ledge so that I can take it long. Especially because it'll kind of consolidating here, and then now there's a sort of a low volume node here. But these delta divergences were bearish, so overall I just wasn't sure. But I was interested. I was thinking about it here, but then it came back, especially because of this B shape. I like that, so if it supported here I would have taken it long, but it didn't break the lows. So now it comes back into the 72 area, which is yesterday's high. I'm looking for it to hold there. I see this delta divergence on the 20 range chart. And then the POC is at the lows with the B shape over here. Big sell off here, selling delta, and then it just keeps making lower lows, forming a CVD hidden divergence on delta, but lower low on delta, but not lower low on price. So I liked that. That was textbook CVD divergence. So I enter with 2 contracts here, long. Maybe it was a little bit of an early entry. I would have maybe gone in later when this delta divergence formed, but I wouldn't have gotten as good of an entry. And also thinking back, maybe my stop should have been, especially after a low rally here, should have been at 70 or so, saved a few points. But yeah, it's just kind of erratic, the price action today. So I really had no idea which way it would go. It seemed like it would be rallying, and then it just drops like that, and then comes all the way back, and then it goes all the way back up. So I wasn't a fan of that. I actually held through news today at 7, and it was kind of a gamble, but I was about 8 points away from my stop, so just left it, hoping that it wouldn't hit my stop, and kind of succeeded. But then it had this huge sell-off, and then it recovered right after, but then came right back down, and then stops me out. So that was the extent of it. I pretty much walked away after this because my plan was to do a break and retest long of yesterday high, but the retest did not hold and broke down, so my plan was invalid there. And then I thought maybe it would hold that value very high, but it broke down under it and reached POC, so I wasn't fond of that either. So it seems like it rallied afterwards into the supply zone, which is unfortunate because it could have just rallied there. But yeah, at this point I was done and didn't want to deal with it anymore. But I did see this huge delta right there that forms, and would I have taken that? I don't think so, because I would have probably waited for a retest of that 6960 level right here. I mean, it kind of retests, but not really. It just kind of hovers around there, and then it never comes back. And then it rallies out of POC there. So I don't think I would have taken that. Maybe I would have taken this consolidation out of here, a long continuation, especially when it formed that delta divergence on the 2-minute here. But I don't know. I think it's good that I just stepped away after my plan got invalidated, but also maybe some missed opportunities here, because a long here could have gotten some a good 20 points or so.